are huge amounts. Some are now kind of increasing their volume size, so they're more sold in 500 ml cans instead of like, the carbonated drinks, which tend to be in like 330 mils. And once that can is opened, although they might suggest that it's 2 servings, no one's going to save the can till the next day. It's 500 mils that's going to be consumed entirely. And we found products that contain up to 20 teaspoons of sugar. Now that's huge amounts compared to how much teenagers or adults need to be aiming for. I think as much as possible, if you really want this product, you don't go for them. And if you're interested in knowing which product that was, not that I'm encouraging you to go and buy it, it's this product which contains 20 teaspoons of sugar. And as much as possible, you try and steer away teenagers and children from these products. The other problematic area, it comes to fruit juices, and this is where children are consuming the high amounts of sugar from. When it comes to fruit juices, there are many brands out there, and it is fruit juice, so yes, it is from the plant itself, and there are benefits to it, but you need to be aware for it to contribute to one of your 5 a day, it needs to only be 150 mils, and that's a very small amount. It's supposed to be equivalent to the juice in a portion of fruit. So it's important that you limit the amount to a child of smoothie or fruit juice to 150 mils, and that 150 mils also applies to adults. That's how much you should be aiming for. Usually it's more like we're having glasses of these juices a day. So this is the recommendation, and as much as possible, if you have a child that's used to that taste, you try and dilute it with water gradually. Hope they're not listening to that trick. And as much as possible, water should be the option. That should be the norm. In many other cultures and other countries, water is seen such as a hydrating drink, but increasingly here, it has to be a sugary drink or a fruit juice that's more seen as hydrating or the option to go for. Another area we looked at was fruit snacks, and this kind of is like the go-to option. It's for mothers when they're going out on the go. It's usually the option that is seen as easy, and it has kind of fruits on the packaging, but actually it's basically made of fruit juice concentrates. Essentially, it's taking the sugars out of the fruit juice and concentrating that and then making gums. They're equivalent to, I would say, Haribo. That's what we compared them to. So as much as possible, you should aim to swap that with dried fruits for children as much as possible. And if that's difficult, then you try and have a bag, a mixture of both of these, the dried fruits and these snacks, and then gradually you reduce the amount of these snacks within what you give a child. Another area we looked at was breakfast cereals. So again, breakfast cereal, a bowl of breakfast cereal, which is about 30 grams, that's what's usually kind of recommended on the packaging. Many times a child might be consuming more and adults are consuming more than that. But usually that contains about 3 teaspoons of sugar. Now looking at the recommendation for children, that's only 5 teaspoons of sugar, and that's also already contributing 3 teaspoons. So as much as possible, try to opt for breakfast cereals that are not sugar-coated, not honey-coated, but the plain versions. And again, if the child's already used to that version, then you try and mix them, and gradually you kind of get rid of the ones that are sugary in there. I think this is the last one. So the final one we looked at, this is more aimed at adults, is those coffee drinks that are flavored. So there tends to be a caramel flavored coffee drink or a mocha drink. Now these ones we're surprised that actually contains huge amounts of sugar. So this was somebody on Twitter very kindly had plotted every single product we had looked at, and you could see the range. There's quite a huge amount of them, more than a cola drink in that portion size, and they go up to 25 teaspoons of sugar in one single pint drink. Now that's a huge amount, and I think you need to regard most of these products as treats and not as everyday products. That was the 25. And so this is just basically opting for smaller cups if you really prefer these products, asking specifically for less syrup, asking for sugar-free syrup if you still want that strong burst of sweetness, or just going for the plain version. There's nothing wrong with a coffee alone. And finally, thank you very much. Wow.